I'm Mark Sudonik with GSG, and welcome to the first episode of GSG Live. Today in studio, I have with me Josh Powell from Avient Specialty Inks. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thank you. First episode.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Voyage.
Yeah, thank you for asking me to join you for the
Absolutely.
first one. That's pretty cool.
Well, I figured, we have some new white ink to talk about, so
do.
we have you on.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So, Josh, tell us a little bit, what do you do for Avient Specialty Inks, and what's your experience in the industry?
Yeah, so I'm a screen printer. Came up in the screen room and color separations, eventually evolving out into, operating a press, shop management, and then apparel sales.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah. So I've seen a few roles and different levels of responsibility in my time, and I kind of bring all of that to supporting our customers in the Texas region.
Okay.
So it's equipped me to be able to, walk the walk and talk the talk and help folks find the right ink solution for their shop.
And spending time in the trenches as you did, customers will kind of, they'll understand where you're coming from because you've worn their shoes. You've been in the position.
That's right.
So.
More importantly, I understand where they're coming from.
Okay.
Being able to understand those challenges helps me be effective to identify the right ink solution.
Yeah, and knowing the everyday activities in a print shop.
Right. Yes.
And every activity is different every day.
Yes, that's right.
So, I started out with, a new white ink. So what is the new white ink? It's from WILFLEX. It's Amazing Bright Tiger White. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so WILFLEX Amazing Bright Tiger White. We had two products previously. Epic Bright Tiger and Amazing Bright White. In looking at our portfolio and deciding what products we're going to move forward with and which ones we're going to have to discontinue, these two, it was kind of a highly contested conversation, right? It was lively, and ultimately what we decided to do was to make one product that had the best attributes of both of the previous. So what was born out of that was Amazing Bright Tiger White.
Well, I've noticed, as you know, I had it before you did.
Yes, you did, yeah.
It came in and I was like, oh, wow, we have another new white ink. That was before I knew that Bright Tiger and Amazing Bright White were no longer going to be available. So I put it on press like we usually do in our applications lab and started testing it with a variety of different mesh counts. And I think you remember the phone call. I called you and I was like, what is this new ink?
Yeah.
You got to come see this.
Yes.
I mean, it performs just fantastic. And, I'll let you tell us like some of the, attributes about it. Like,
you did get a chance to print with it before I did, which was fun. And that phone call was great because I jumped in the car and I ran up to your lab and we worked together for a few hours. And we were both very impressed with the product. One of the things that I really appreciate about this product is so many people are really looking for kind of a light creamy feel right out of the bucket. And we're bringing that to the market with this product. So folks that are looking for kind of a premium aesthetic, softer feel, this is a great product for them. That said, it still covers really well. When you say
fantastic, and I've noticed, we've run it, here in Applications Lab, everything from 110 mesh up to 305 mesh.
Yeah,
I've done thousands of prints with it already, mainly through 123, 55, 156, 200, and 230 mesh screens. I'm currently running 1,000 pieces on it, a front and back shirt. And what I have found out is a couple of things. One, you open the bucket, and lack of other words, this ink's light. Immediately I thought, it's light. It's not going to cover anything. And the opacity is fantastic. I put it on press. Once I got my pallets, up to temperature, I was ecstatic. I was getting 2.5 second flash.
Yeah, and
it's no aftertaste,
and very stable in the screen
very
too.
Stable.
It wasn't shearing down too far. It wasn't thinning out. You weren't losing any of that opacity.
Not at all. And something else, running it through like the 200 mesh screen and using a 60-90-60 Drummer squeegee, I'm really printing it and clearing the screen perfectly at about 30 pounds, about 30 psi. Yeah. And like you said, it doesn't shear down. it stays stable how it needs to be, and the coverage is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, here in our lab, when we're testing white inks, of course, with this ink, we tested it on 50/50s, 100% cotton, tri-blends, and we tested on polyester. You know, the one thing I found out was, especially on the tri-blends, is the fiber mat down is uncomparable to anything else.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So it can be considered that general purpose style ink. It is designed for poly blends and for tri blends,
but not 100% polyester. Correct.
Correct. Okay. I wouldn't print it on 100% polyester. Okay. I mean, you could do, say, Armor Black or Armor Gray, and then use it as a white on top. You know, using the barrier products to block the dye migration. But it's going to work great on cotton, and it's going to work great on all those poly blends and tri blends, and that's really what it's designed for.
Well, I see it as it's almost like, lack of other words, it's a really high performance ink. If you want, you know, that fast flash, that super smooth finish, the high mesh counts, and faster production speeds, you know, I've noticed, you know, on the M&R Cobra that we're printing it on, if you're familiar with, you know, the settings for the speeds, I'm at that almost past medium. You know, that squeegee is moving really fast.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And when you look at the product bulletin, we do recommend a faster print stroke with this because the ink just flows so nicely and it lays down so quickly and kind of clears the screen out. Yeah, you're right. You can get some nice production speed out of it.
And you know, I want to clarify something else. The Bright Tiger White, you know, the legacy product, been around forever, and the Amazing Bright White. Now, they're no longer going to be available. You're not manufacturing those.
You are correct. Okay. We've discontinued both of those products. So for any of our customers, any printers out there who were using Amazing Bright White or the Epic Bright Tiger, this is the product to use now. You're going to find similar properties as those two products, but I think that there's some opportunity for improvement because of the reasons that Mark mentioned earlier.
Well, with it being one of the newest white inks in the portfolio for WILFLEX, you know, given the past 18 months to 2 years in this industry, as everyone knows, we had a lot of resin or supply shortages.
Right.
Is that going to affect anything? Is Avient, back on pace where they need to be?
Yeah, so I don't have the crystal ball to say what the future holds, but I will tell you that right now we are making and shipping a tremendous amount of product. GSG shelves are stocked.
So you're saying don't pull the magic 8 ball out right now?
No,
right?
No, don't. Okay. No, we don't need to do that. Of course, with any business, there's always challenges, and maybe we have some spotty shortages of material here and there. But for the most part, we are not only back on track, but better than ever.
That's fantastic. It seems like it.
Yeah, it's the market has turned, and things are going very well.
Well, that's good, because we don't want to, introduce something and then a few months down the road.
Yeah, no, this product is here to stay. So for those folks who are running, Amazing Bright or Bright Tiger,
and they've been using it for a long time.
Right, you've been using it for years. Once you get this in your shop, you're going to want to use it for years too, and it's here to stay.
Well, I want to bring up what printers or customers, who's going to benefit from this product? Like you kind of just touched on, Bright Tiger and Amazing Bright White, they've been around forever.
Right.
So is it going to be an easy transition?
I believe so. I believe it'll be a very simple transition. So if you are needing a low bleed white at a 300-degree cure, this is a great option. If you're running Amazing Bright White, if you are running Bright Tiger, this is a great option to move to now.
Well, let me ask you, the 300-degree cure temperature is fantastic. So it's not truly low cure.
Right.
Now, what if, a customer, for example, is running standard cure inks? They have any issues running this and still curing at 320 degrees?
No, you're not going to have any issues if you're at 320.
Okay. Yeah, you just don't want to go below the 300 threshold.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So the curing temp is 300. So as long as you're clearing that, then you're going to be in really good shape.
So you don't see any any negative aspects of a customer that has been using Amazing Bright White for years?
No, Amazing Bright White customers, people using the previous product,
Sure.
they're going to love this.
Okay.
They will love this product. Very similar, but just something that's a little bit different about it that folks are really going to love. And the transition will be quite easy, I'm sure.
Something that you just touched on that customers are going to love about it is we took the Amazing Bright Tiger White, and in our applications lab, we do a lot of technical videos. We do a lot of how-to videos. Well, there's this white rabbit that everybody's been chasing down the hole for years.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the proverbial one-hit white.
Yeah, the one-hit white.
Well,
I saw that video, Mark.
We
That
pulled
was
it
really
off
cool.
with this product.
I saw, yeah.
You go to our YouTube channel, you can see that we did it. There's no smoke and mirrors, and we actually did get that hit.
I've seen the prints. I saw you do it, and was really neat. So I'm really pleased that Amazing Bright Tiger got you there. And
we didn't tell people what it was in the video.
Oh, you didn't?
No, we couldn't let the hat out of the bag.
Oh,
yet,
no. So I just did.
well, they know now.
Okay.
But no, we would absolutely share. That was the ink we used, but at the time, this wasn't launched.
Right.
Because oh geez, we post that video. Next thing you know, phones at GSG are going to be going off the hook, and people are going to want. I want that ink that Mark used, and everybody's going, what?
Yeah. Which one?
Which one?
Well, it's available now.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool thing that you did there. It's a testament to the fact that with the skill, with the right setup and the right ink in the screen, you can get some really amazing results.
And it's just not Amazing Bright Tiger White. Like you said, it was the mesh, it's the stencil, it's the squeegee.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah,
really
all of those variables coming
all of them together.
Yeah.
And something else that's pretty cool that we're doing with the Amazing Bright Tiger White is this is for all of our customers out there. We're going to be doing a Amazing Bright Tiger White printing contest.
Oh, neat.
And what it's going to be from July 25th. It'll span all the way till September 30th. And what we're asking is we want our customers to submit to us a couple of T-shirts that were printed with the Amazing Bright Tiger White.
Great.
And a little, testimonial of how they feel about the ink, how it's working in their shop. And the really exciting thing about it is we're gonna have a first, second, and third place winner.
What are the prizes?
$1,000 to $3,000.
Oh, hello.
So who doesn't want?
Can I enter? Can I? I'm probably excluded from that.
I'd have to check on it, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'll stay out of it.
I can't enter. You can't enter.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And what we're going to do is we're going to feature those shirts on our social media, on our YouTube channel, our different pages, and we'll also feature those shirts at the upcoming trade shows. So we'll have them in our booth, and it'll give the customer a little bit of bragging rights.
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't love bragging rights?
Yeah, in this industry.
Yeah, everybody loves bragging.
Does. But everybody loves a white ink that really works, and Amazing Bright Tiger just does that.
Yeah.
And for our contest, all anybody has to do is go to GoGSG.com, and they can get all the particulars on it. And when we get those shirts in, then we'll have a bunch of us from our marketing team and management look at the shirts, and we'll pick the winners.
That's a lot of fun.
It's
if you want to invite me back to guest judge, I'd be happy to.
I think we can do that because you know a little bit about white ink.
Right. Yeah. A little bit.
And it's just one of those. We talked about it briefly when I made the comment of the white of the week.
Right.
It always seems that every month or so, every few weeks, we have another white ink. So speaking of that, is there anything else that WILFLEX, Avient, the team has coming out?
Okay, so I will
that
tell
you. Can probably tell us a little bit about?
I'll tell you that our innovation team is the best in the industry.
Yep.
A fantastic, very smart group of folks who are constantly looking at how to make our products better. So I don't have exact details on what products we're going to come out with next, but I will tell you.
Of them. I could shake them down to see what's going on.
You probably could shake them down if you wanted to give them a phone call and see. But You'll be the first to know.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll probably know before you do.
You just might. You just might.
We've went over everything about the Amazing Bright Tiger White. So, before we end the show and go any further, what do you think are the key points of this ink?
Yeah. So, key points of Amazing Bright Tiger White. The printability is fantastic. The flow properties of this ink, very easy to print, very efficient to get up and running quickly.
That's important because customers, if they've been using a legacy product for so long, and you bring something new in, a lot of shops, you're busy, you're running production.
That's right. You're running a business.
You want to put it in and you want to run.
And you want to keep going. Yeah. So I think the transition is going to be very simple for most people. The other best attributes about this is the versatility.
Okay.
Excellent as a standalone white. Very nice supple feel. Works well with finer detail, fine lines and halftones.
Okay. That's important.
It is
high
important.
mesh counts.
And it is an excellent underbased white.
Okay.
So if you're putting down a white and you're stacking your spot colors on top, this is going to work. So it's very versatile for kind of that, like we said, the finer detail down to the underbasing for spot colors, or just, maybe even the one-hit white. Your stamp of approval means a lot. I'm glad you're excited about it too. So I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone does with the product and the contest and how it's received.
And now that we have it, and it's going to start going out to customers, I really want to see the customer feedback.
Yes, 100%. Well, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is providing a solution for our customers.
And an ink that works.
And an ink that works, and not only works well, but brings quality improvements, production improvements, efficiencies, availability. All of that is very important when it comes to being an ink supplier.
It's a good looking ink.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great.
Well, Josh, I want to thank you for being on our maiden voyage.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Really, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
I'm glad we had time to, go over and answer some customer questions and things about the new product, and we're really excited for it. And I think we have a clear winner between GSG and WILFLEX and Avient Specialty Inks with this.
Couldn't agree with you more.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming by. And don't forget to remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more information on WILFLEX Amazing Bright Tiger White and tips and tricks on screen printing, visit gogsg.com, and we'll see you all next time.